All right, welcome back to the Dad's Talk Sports podcast for November 20th, Thanksgiving week. McGee, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I heard you have a story for us. I'm
Uh,
hearing it for the first time.
I got a couple. The second one, I literally burst out laughing as I was happening, being like, I'm so pumped for recording tonight. Because if anyone's gonna appreciate, oh my God, you're gonna love it. So no, the first thing is I want to close the bookend on the travel story from like a month
Yeah.
ago.
How was that
Another
tour?
conference down in outside of Fort Lauderdale. Same thing. Get to Newark, United Terminal. There's basically you have the top of the escalators. You go down to the right for like the clear and the TSA pre, or you go down to the left for like the generic one. So I go down to the TSA pre, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I actually walked to the wrong one. I walked to the regular Gen Pop, and there was maybe like 10, 15 people in line. Like it wasn't bad, but I was like, oh, maybe there's no one over there. And the lady actually looked at my thing, was like, oh, actually TSA pre is around the corner. Okay, whatever. So I go back up the escalator, walk down 100 feet, down the other one. There's 500 people at the TSA pre line. And I got clear TSA pre, same thing. So I was like, screw this. Went back up the escalator, down across, back to the original lady. She's like, what, you're back? I'm like, lady, there's 500 people over there. Like, I'll stand in this 15, I'll take off my shoes if I have to. So I end up going through this line, and they're like, oh, you're TSA pre? Oh, yeah, leave all your stuff on. So I got the TSA pre treatment by going through the regular line, and like I watched people go at the same time, and they showed up like 15 minutes later than me. It's unbelievable.
That's a pro
It's
move.
gotten worse.
Just go where the shorter line is.
Yeah, but like in Newark, you can't see. So I went up and down like four escalators and like went back and forth. And I was like, I'm gonna prove a point. I'm going back. I'm not even gonna bother. Like I gotta like win this moral victory.
It's
So
like the old club scene: 400 people in the VIP section and 10 people in the regular bar section.
yeah. Oh man, it's just getting worse. And
How
then
about
like
how about in Fort Lauderdale? Is this just a Newark business travel thing, or how was the Fort Lauderdale situation?
I was really hoping to get some like golf in, get some Florida weather. We show up the first day. It's a 3-day conference, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna bring my full bag down for Thursday because like I don't know. I also don't want to walk into the conference that's not like a hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
golf too with like my bag and have like my like boss and like partner be like, dude, come on, I thought we were here for meetings. I'm showing my whole thing. So what I did is I just brought shorts, golf shirt, glove, bunch of balls, tees, hat, the whole thing, and then I was just gonna rent. So it proceeds to rain sideways, 30-mile-an-hour winds all of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Finally clears up on Thursday, and I like scheduled a late flight just so I could like try to get around in. And I called all the courses, and they're like, "Dude, we're a foot underwater right now. Like, not going to happen." So I just booked an earlier flight, and I got home.
Boom.
Yeah, but yeah, I cannot get over this TSA pre. But anyway, not the best story, but I had to close the book, and this
No, I'm happy that you closed the book. I was actually thinking about you.
this is the better story that I know you're going to appreciate. All right, so I kind of go through these like cycles of trying to get into like better shape, or like sometimes life gets in the way, and you're just I sleep in and don't really get anything in. So the only way I can actually get consistent thing going is if I have a program that someone just tells me what to do, right? So I'll go through like I'll do the P90X stuff and I'll just watch the videos and Tony Horton cracks me up and I'll just like follow along like no problem. But if I have to like think about what I'm going to do that day, I can't do it. So my Instagram feed is like because my searches all kinds of like workout of the day, dad bod, whatever. So there's this one that it keeps on coming up, and it's like I think it's called Dad Bod Wad, right? And he has like little samples, and I actually did one of his workouts this morning, like before work. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, just like 20, 25 minute, whatever, just enough to get by. So it's like, click here if you want the program. So I'm like, all right, I'll click here. So, it brings you through one of the Instagram, like, oh, we're going to do a survey or whatever. And then like the program will be revealed at the end. So I fill in, like I'm 39 years old, got 3 kids. What are your goals? I just want something that will, keep me engaged, blah, blah, blah. So I fill out like the 5-minute survey, and then including email address and phone number. And then like 5 minutes after I do that, I get a text from Kevin Torres, Dad Bod Wad, right? And he sends me a nice little video. Let's see.
Thank you so much for taking the time to fill out the application and for letting me know you're interested in one-to-one coaching. That's freaking awesome, man. I had a chance just now, literally just now, to look over your application and
So yeah, he sends me a little like personalized video, whatever. And so I'm like, oh, this is kind of innovative. Like, so now he's got me talking on like an iMessage text chat. It's like, hey Tom, thanks for the patience, blah blah, great to connect, yada yada. What are your goals? Okay. So then he finally finishes up with, hey, I have this little video I'd love you to watch, and it's the offering, right? So this is at 10:41 a.m. He sends me over the pre-recorded Zoom thing. It's a 12-minute video. Here's how I started, blah, blah. And then like, here's the price point. So it's a classic, like when I was doing personal training for this same package, it would be $3,500. We're not going to do that. You guys are my friends. We're going to do an introductory price of $1,995. But for Black Friday, it's $995. And you can do 2 payments of $500, whatever it was. So I was just like, yeah, no, like I'm totally good. Like I was hoping this would be like a $30 a month, like whatever. I'm not in it for like $1,000 commitment here. So this is
YouTube videos, dude.
Yeah. So this is at 10:49 a.m. He sends me the recording, and then I'm like, not for me. I don't respond. I just delete the text, and I go on with my day. At 11:11, so 20 minutes later, he sends me this GIF or GIF, whatever it is, of Ace Ventura looking into the camera, being like, "You there?" And I'm like, that's weird. Like, you have no idea what my sense of humor is. Like, that's like a very bizarre thing to send. And this is 20 minutes after you sent me a 12-minute video. They're like, hey, it's Monday noon on a work day. Like, take it easy, buddy. Right? So I swipe and I delete that. And I've totally forgotten about this. I have like actual work to do. I take a couple calls or whatever. 2:41. So this is 2.5 hours later. Text. And by the way, I deleted this. This is just like a random text from like a number. So it took me a second to orient myself. All right, dude, it appears that you have chosen to ghost me instead of simply replying. That's really unfortunate and reveals a bit about who you are. I hope you find what you're looking for. Good luck with everything. What? Like, I do like a double take. I'm like, is this someone that I've wronged in a serious capacity? I'm like, this is Kevin from like the $1,000 workout program from Instagram. You're like, this says something about who you are. Like, what the fuck is happening here?
$1,000 on a workout program, man.
Dude, this is like the do you feel it, right? The connect, right? Like freshman year.
I get the reference. I get the reference.
So
sophomore year.
So I was like, so I burst out laughing. I'm like, first of all, I got to tell this story. Second of all, like, I got to respond to this. So I go, whoa. I happen to have a job that requires me to be on meetings for the last few hours. I hope for your sake this is an automated text and not something you actually just wrote. I'm honestly considering joining, but that text is bananas. And then I couldn't help myself. So I go, reveals a bit about who you are? Question mark. That's such a bizarre thing to say to someone who you just started communicating regarding the sale of a fitness program. It reveals that I have a job and it will take a second. Wow. Never responded.
Perfect.
So I might have been arguing with like an AI chatbot or whatever, but I was just so blown away by so many things. It was 2 hours later and he's like accosting me from not like signing up. And now I follow this guy on Instagram. I'm like, do I have the time and just like patience to start like blowing up all of his like comments? Like, stay away from this guy. Like, check out this. I could totally like ruin his little thing.
I pity those people because just imagine the churn that you go through.
Oh my God.
Horrible.
It's like just leave it alone, man. Like that text was just, I've never seen anything like it. It's like I
Horrible.
didn't meet you on Tinder.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Like, ghosted you? Anyway, that's all I
I
got.
can only imagine what the Tinder streets are like for people our age trying to find
Oh.
true love.
So I immediately booted back up the message and did the recover deleted messages because I'm saving this one. It's a gem.
The only story that made me think, the only story that I have from this week is there's this woman, her kid goes to Taekwondo and she chats us up, very friendly, about the same age. She's a huge Harry Potter fan. And my daughter's 11th birthday was earlier this month. And this lady made a point to highly recommend this like Harry Potter cake that gets sent to you from like the Harry Potter world. And like you open it up and it like explodes with like the magical stuff. And it's like,
Home run.
and she was like making it sound like this will make her birthday. We get the box. It's like this little tiny square.
Nothing.
I'm like, is this
Nothing.
it? Dorothy opens it up, and instead of like, you know, flying out like on the internet where it's like, you know, LeBron James with the chalk,
Yeah.
this thing just like fizzles out like, you know, some horrible sexual reference. Just okay. Dorothy starts crying. Dorothy starts crying. She's like, "This is horrible." See the lady tonight at Taekwondo. She goes, "Oh my god, how was it?" Dorothy just loved the cake. I go, "I'm not gonna lie to you. She absolutely hated it."
Lady.
It's like this was the biggest bust ever. She was in her room crying.
Not even gonna entertain this. Oh my god.
Yeah, so thanks for a horrible recommendation. And she got it for her own birthday. Like she's 40.
I thought it was a home run.
Yeah, I thought it was a home run.
Jesus.
Not to sound highfalutin, but like I live on the border, okay, and this is like the nice town, and then there's like another town. She's in the other town, okay.
Oh, she's okay. Assassins, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got for the week.
You know, hey, we'll take a couple gems.
I don't have anything. I got my only nugget for the listeners out there, as I've been giving out just winners after winners. Yeah. We'll go to Lafayette. Stay to the end for a huge college football upset. But Tom, you take it away.
Hey, Lafayette, Patriot League champions, the Leopards, West Side, apparently, for some of our right in the middle of the group photo. I mean, as one of our friends said, it looks like we're finally getting recruiting right. So
hopefully that can move over to basketball. Our basketball team looks like a D3 lacrosse program, if you get the reference. Dude, I loved it. I actually watched the game on ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus. I couldn't find it, and then I was like, it's got to be streamed somewhere. And honestly, like the ESPN Plus paid off just for having the game. It was great.
It was awesome. Dominated the second half. And we play Delaware in the first round of the FCS playoffs.
Yeah,
this Saturday.
Can't wait.
I don't know if you and the missus are making the way down to Newark, Delaware, but
no. But finally, we only live 45 minutes away from campus, and so hopefully next year when it's at Lafayette, we'll be able to get back because it's just been tough with like little kids and babies and whatnot. But next year, Leopards, man, we're back.
Stay for the Easton Peabody. We might have to give a call to. What was his name? The cook. Who was our chef? What was his name?
Mikio?
How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Mikio, but Misio.
Misio? We might need to get the line for the Easton Peabody game on Thursday.
Oh.
You remember that? I could text Jody.
The 8-liners.
Yeah. Walk back, right?
Yeah.
That's a high school rivalry for anyone that listens. I was pumped, man. And then I did the hashtag roll pards. I was like, I'm going to tweet something out at McGee406 if you're not following me. And I had to go to Lafayette's Twitter handle because I'm like, what are the hashtags? Like, I don't know. Hashtag roll pards is our sports hashtag.
Okay.
So anyways, I went to that. Roll pards. Roll pards now. ROLL. It must be a diversity, equity, inclusion thing.
I've got to go Leopards. I'm on the athletics website. Go Leopards is the @ All right.
Well, anyways, since I liked a bunch of the hey, we won Patriot League champs, I've been getting like the For You page feeding me some like Lafayette sports, and they're like, it was as if it were Selection Sunday, and they're like in there like clapping for the FCS
Yeah,
like selection going to Delaware. It's kind of cool.
nice.
To me, I wish our basketball program was competing for titles.
Well, because then at least you get like on the national stage as like a 16 or 15 seed every once in a while. Like even if
Well,
we're just in the
think
rotation.
about two of the schools. Two of the schools. We had Bucknell had their run, and everyone's
Yep,
talking about them. Lehigh
yep,
upset Duke, and everyone's talking about
yep.
that. Lafayette's done
That was
nothing.
fun. I know. Such low hanging fruit. I don't get it.
Yeah, we're close to Philly and close to New York. You can't tell me that we can't find some talent.
And there's just like what's the Northeast program? Like there's nothing. So
Nothing. Let's talk some football.
bring the roar. Yeah, another productive weekend for you.
I'm starting to feel
Going
bad
at
at
it
this
at a
point.
70% clip. No problem.
Hey, we'll take it, man. We'll take it.
What is the
Rocking and
secret?
rolling. And that Ravens minus 115 to win the division is looking pretty good, thanks to some injuries.
Yeah.
Cleveland and Cincinnati lose their starting quarterback since we gave
The,
out that pick, so that's a little bit of luck.
the Cleveland defense is just insane. I mean, remember what was it like the 2000 Ravens, right? They were completely inept, and they brought Dilfer in at like week 14 or whatever, because
They
they
benched
literally
Tony
couldn't score any
Banks.
points. Like
Yeah,
this Browns is doing like basically the same thing. No one's like, I feel like the talk is starting to come around, but they've had so much chop at quarterback that they're really something else. I mean, the division's not great, so they've been able to prey on the Steelers aren't anything this year or whatever, but
they're all
very
above
impressive.
500. It's the division's not great. I think it's the best division in football, top to bottom. I
Yeah,
mean, everyone's at least competent.
yeah. I mean, if Burrow was in, they'd have potentially like 4 playoff teams.
The crazy Brown stat is they had Josh Dobbs
They
in,
did.
in camp and then traded him.
Is the Josh Jobs thing done?
Yes, it's done. That he had his Jeremy Lin run. He's a pro's pro. He is a true backup quarterback, and he's competent. He can come in. He is a pro's pro, prepared. He's definitely better than some jabroni rookie,
Yeah,
but he's not a starting quarterback. He's a professional backup, but a
because I
pro.
think the bottom line, like I haven't watched like full games, but I've like even just from the highlights, it's very obvious that like he is just a superior athlete. That if you're like just hey, we're drawing up like 5-on-5 in the backyard, like you take him, right? And that's what he's been able to do. Like all of his all of his runs are not like design runs. He's just like taking off. He's just fucking good athlete.
I think it's more to do with the coaches. I think it's a hat tip to the Vikings play caller. I think it just shows you
Yeah,
the difference.
like really simple. Like you can't be too complicated, right? And just like hey, go out there and wing it a little bit.
But sometimes you see these offense coordinators that can draw up plays and some guys wide open. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone can hit a guy wide open.
I didn't catch I didn't watch all the game last night, but the one play I don't know if you're watching, but like there was one where it was like an option type where they snapped it right to someone and then like flicked out to him and he just got destroyed for a fumble. It was like, oh yeah, this is over.
Yeah, that was a crazy play. And then they're talking about that, and I'm like, well, he wasn't lined up as the quarterback. He was lined up as like the running back receiver. So it's like, yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Like
So it
I'm
was just
sorry,
like
he didn't take the snap. He can get level.
yeah, it's like under no circumstance was that not going to end in some giant hit. I guess like the guy that was brought in to like resave your season, it's like, let's just throw him out there on an island. Like it gets absolutely smoked. All right, so
You want
let's
to
see.
do winners, losers, or what do you want to do? Or you want to just skip to next week?
Well, let's see. Who are the big winners of this last week? I mean, I big winner America. How about the Lions being a good watch for the second year in a row on Thanksgiving? That's always something.
My son likes the Lions. He
If
likes.
you're a little kid, Lions got to be a fun team, right? You got a coach that's very like quotable. I mean, in 30 years, he could be like the Ditka or who knows. But
Yeah,
like you gotta love like that energy. And then I think
They're
Goff
like,
is
well,
definitely,
there's nothing better than a team that sucked forever. Then all of a sudden they're good and they're fun. I'm pulling for the Lions.
and it's not one of these like, oh, we got a good defense and we're like slogging out these 20 to 16 games. Like they're fun, entertaining. They've got fantasy guys, right? So that's always going to be helpful for like the younger generation to like have a couple players. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be hopping on Thanksgiving. I'm pumped for them.
yeah. What other games were you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, glad to see the Bills back. Finally, absolutely killed Wilson. So that's something. He started off your season on the wrong foot, and then the revenge is now he's third stringer.
Reality check coming. If the Bills play the Eagles, Chiefs, and Cowboys the next three, it's real easy to
Yeah.
beat the Jets when they can't even move the football. The Eagles look ahead line is -3.5. I would sit on that all week, and if it gets to 3, I'm taking Philly.
Wait, so what's their upcoming? I'm pulling up their upcoming schedule.
They play at Philly this coming Sunday,
Eesh.
and
That doesn't sound great.
I'm a Philly, especially if Philly touches -3. I think that's an immediate take until proven otherwise. Philly,
Oh,
the
Philly,
Philly,
take. Okay, definitely.
yeah, Philly, take Philly, take Philly.
Yeah, take Philly.
I think I'm going to take Philly regardless in our contest because I was looking at the lines and it's pretty brutal, but we can get there later. We'll stick to this week, but yeah, it was good. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think the offensive coordinator should be taking victory laps. The Jets couldn't move the ball. They switched some things up after struggling, which any team would do. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah,
Other than
yeah.
that, the Dolphins are 7-3, but they literally have not beaten a team above 500.
I know. I thought they were going to come out and smoke the Raiders, and ended up being a little more of a dogfight. But yeah, that was
How about you?
yeah, that wasn't great. Yeah, the Bucks. uh, what's unbelievable is that they're still like definitely in the running for the division. It's so sad. They are one game back of the Saints and the Falcons. Saints play the Falcons this weekend. So if the Bucks win, they're at the Colts, very winnable. They'll be like a half
Yes.
a game back in the division
Yeah.
with a tiebreaker over the Saints, and they still just the upcoming schedule as bad as they've been: Colts, Panthers, Falcons, Packers, Jaguars, Saints, Panthers. They play one
think
team.
that's coaching? You think it's coaching? Because I feel with a different coach they would have a better record. They have good players.
They need a new coach, like 100%. That's the only reason why. Like the only reason why I want them to win the division is because I have them 10-1 on a preseason bet. But other than that, I would love them to bomb out and have Bulls get fired. Yeah, I mean they're the only team that like I watch them all. Like has never had anyone open, never. Every time they
Right.
throw it, our receivers get absolutely smoked in some capacity.
Yeah.
Every time someone's playing us, it's like Brock Purdy's back, and they lets one go outside the screen. You're like, 100% that guy's wide open. And it's just like, there he is. Like nobody
There's
around.
no one 7 yards.
No one
And
within
Evans and Godwin are two of the best.
got.
So it's not the receivers.
Yeah, I mean Evans is like a
Get a little
top 15 guy. Godwin, I think I hate to say it because he's on my team, but Godwin was a Tom Brady manufactured elite player. Tom Brady got that guy paid 20. He has one touchdown this year on like 50 receptions. Like he's not overly fast. He was always crafty, but he was basically like playing the Edelman, Amendola little slot position. And now they've got him lined on the outside, and he's not that guy. But yeah, so I still think we have a good chance in the division, unfortunately, which means we're going to play out. But
the only loser I have is Seattle.
I know. I kind of like
I
them
think
mid-season.
I think they're still fine to make the playoffs, given there's 7 teams now in the NFC. I just don't know who's going to get that 7th seed. But that was kind of one where if they won that game, they're definitely making the playoffs.
Well, let's see. In the conferences, let's go down. Just going to look conference.
Well, the Cowboys will be one wild card. And then beyond that, it's pretty much it would be the Vikings and Seahawks today are 6-7. And then everyone beyond that,
division leaders as Eagles, Lions, Niners, Saints are in that last spot, right? And then it's Cowboys.
Eliminate all the NFC South teams.
Yeah, so the Cowboys are pretty much locked in at that. We're going to smoke the NFC South winner week 1 or playoff game 1.
Yep.
And then after that, yeah, it's Seahawks, Vikings, Packers are the next three. So Seahawks and Vikings are both at 6 wins. No one else is above 4. There's a little gap there. You're right.
So I think we're still fine on that preseason. Bet, but it was closer than I thought it was going to be.
Man, yeah, that NFC is pretty sad. At least on the AFC, you got Chiefs, Ravens, Jags, Dolphins, Browns, Texans, Steelers, Bills on the outside looking in if the playoffs started today.
Outside looking in with a brutal schedule coming up. Let's go to this coming week. Let's go to the coming week.
What do you like? You taking a peek yet?
Just a peek. Let's go to Thanksgiving. Let's go game by game on Thanksgiving. Packers, Lions. Lions minus 7.5. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Let me pull the lines up here. Hold on, 1 second. So what's the first line? 7.5, right?
Lions are 7.5 against the Packers.
All right, here's an aside before we get to the game. Do you feel like there's more 3.5s, 7.5s, like a lot more halves this year than there have been? Because I feel like it is, and I think it's 100% because of all these big gaming companies out there now, which means that there's more like Joey Publics that are going to bet the game whatever the line is, and really don't appreciate the 7.5 versus 7. Like they just want to take the favorites. So I feel like all the lines are like a half point. They're shading the public by a half point because it's become such a public thing, which is part of it. What I hate about all the DraftKings and the FanDuels and stuff like that. It used to be so much more fun when it was I had to seek out a guy, and it was you're kind of in a club if you're able to actually put bets in. Now everyone's I got $10 here, $10 there. It's I think you're ruining lines. 7.5 is definitely not what this line would have been 5 years ago, I don't think.
Well, it's hard. I mean, if you live in a state with a lot of sports books, depending on if they're good, in Vegas, with a lot of the standalone casinos, I feel like you can shop around. But in just a Joe Blow state, I feel like FanDuel and DraftKings are just copying lines, and they're all going to be the same.
Oh,
how often do you see FanDuel at -3 on a game and DraftKings at 3.5? Those two big ones are.
You can't do that now because the shopping is 2 clicks away. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it just seems like I remember when we first started doing this in 2005 or whatever, right? It'd be a third of the lines would be 7 or 3, right? And now it's if there's 1-7 or 1-3 on the number, it's a rarity on any given week. So I feel like they're just adjusting a little bit. But anyway, all right, so 7.5. I gotta ride the Lions. We just talked about how awesome it is. They're gonna have a really sick crowd Thanksgiving. If this is a year to show off before you get an extended bye, half a bye week, this is the one.
I'm not taking it, but I would lean the Packers at 7.5. I think maybe it was just the Chargers, but the Packers moved the ball really well against the Chargers. It could just be a Chargers.
Everyone.
Yeah,
I've taken Chargers so many times to make everyone look good.
And then the next one would be Commanders Cowboys -11. I don't know if I can lay 11 with Dallas, known chokers on Thanksgiving.
Known chokers. The only reason why I'd kind of lean them again is that their home, besides this Carolina game where they laid it on, they have been stomping people at home.
Okay. We'll keep going. We'll keep going rapid fire unless you have anything else on Dallas.
Yeah, no. I was just looking at the. Hold on, I was trying to find the defensive stat.
The next two games I like: San Fran, Seattle. San Fran -7 at Seattle. I'm on San Fran. Seattle has not looked good for 4 weeks, and San Fran is starting to click.
Dude, I mean, watching San Fran this last weekend, like, it's the opposite of what I was complaining about the Bucks. Like Shanahan can just draw plays, and when they get those guys, it's the same thing as the Dolphins like run game. Like there'll be some plays where just the whole line is just all moving left, and the running backs coming at that 45-degree angle, just waiting for somebody to open, and then the cut up, and you're just like, this is going for 8. Like this is going for 8 if he does nothing but just fall on his face, right? It's like it's just so hard to watch if you're like rooting against him. So
And that the running game is not dead. I feel like so many teams is like, oh, pass, pass, pass. And I feel like the fact that the San Fran can run the ball really well, everyone has to respect it. It just opens everything up.
yeah,
I'm on San Fran. Seattle has looked horrible. I know Seattle's a tough place to play, but Seattle's looked really bad, man. Because we have them to make the playoffs. San Fran's rolling right now.
yep.
And then the
Definitely.
next game, I don't care what this spread is. It's -10 right now, Miami on Black Friday at the Jets. As long as this stays under 14, I am taking the Dolphins. I don't care.
With this change of scenery, yeah. I mean, the only thing would be if it's like weird weather.
Yeah.
It's gonna be raining.
What's the weather forecast?
It's supposed to rain for the next few days. I don't know if it's gonna stop before. I think it's gonna stop around Thursday because this is what the Black Friday game. Yeah, that'd be the only
Yeah.
thing. So
Tommy
I will
Boyle.
do morning of.
Tommy Boyle. I've never heard of him. Couldn't tell you where he played college. Don't know anything. So my logic on this.
No, I just heard the stat. I think his senior year. Well, where did he play? I heard someone say that his last year he threw 1 touchdown and 13 receptions, but I'm not sure if that's actually accurate.
I'll give you, while you look that up, I'll give you the logic. Okay, minus 10 here. Okay.
Yep.
If the Dolphins score 24, which with their offense should be doable,
Yep.
the Jets have to score more than 14 with Tommy Boyle. And then, God forbid the Dolphins get to 28 or something. If the Dolphins get to 28, I mean, even if the Jets put up 17 with Tommy Boyle, the Dolphins cover that number.
Yeah. So Tim Boyle. Let's see.
Tim Boyle?
Tim Boyle played 3 seasons at UConn.
It is
Didn't like. He played in 5 games, 9 games, and 11 games. The 3 seasons. He threw how many touchdowns?
I just pulled up Wikipedia so I can see.
1 touchdown. And then he transferred to the Eastern Kentucky Colonels and threw 11 touchdowns against 13 interceptions. He is now an NFL starting quarterback. That's not going to go well.
By the way, can we change the spelling of Colonels in English? I know we took it, I think, from French.
Yeah.
Can we add an R in there in English on the spelling? Come on.
Embarrassing myself.
Think of an English as a second language person trying to learn the language. Actually, that's Colonels.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. Just memorize that one. Put on a flashcard and just tuck it away.
Yeah,
by the way,
Dolphins.
I'm tasking with the Chargers stat. They are dead last receiving or passing yards against their defense. So everyone looks good against the Chargers, just in case you cared.
I do care.
Giving up literally twice as many yards to the bet. What's up?
Sunday, we don't have to go through everyone, but the best game on the docket is Jags-Texans at Houston. Texans. Any thoughts?
If the Jags win this one, then they probably have a pretty good handle on the division. But if they let it slip, especially on the road, I don't know what the Texans division odds are right now. I feel like I was looking it up. I think they're like still 3-1 pending that game. Let's see here.
I would probably take that over the +1 because if they win this, don't they have the same record?
Yeah. So let's see here. A division winner. Yeah, so the Texans are plus 235, so they're a little over 2.5 to 1, or almost 2.5 to 1. If you like the 1.5, like maybe if they win this one and basically like come within a half game of the division, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty tempting. Just take them for that.
Yeah, I would probably just rather take him for the division too at 235. I don't know. I'd have to
Yeah,
look at the strength of schedule down the stretch, but
yeah.
any other games you like or no? It's
I
early,
mean,
so it's not going to
they're they're
commit to it.
they're no, they're pretty spread out. I mean, other than that, it's a lot of ugly games. Um, yeah, I mean, look, the whole week kind of ends by Black Friday. Patriots Giants is gonna be like an interesting one. Who would have thought that a few years ago that's just straight up like the top pick bowl? That's the only reason why it's intriguing.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, like
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna be worth like not watching the actual game, but like intriguing what happens to that matchup because they're
yeah.
both in the tank. You know that Belichick would probably, if there's a revenge game outside of the division, it'd be the Giants.
Belichick's going to play to win that game. He's out. He doesn't care what the draft pick is.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Do you believe the rumors that he's got another gig lined up?
That could just be an agent leaking something.
Yeah. I mean, like if he parts ways with the Patriots, like if he wants to coach, he's got another coaching job, right?
Yeah, someone will give him a job. If I'm the Chargers right now, people are talking about the Chargers for him. If I'm the Chargers, I would
Yeah,
just go ahead and fire Staley. And then Kellen Moore's kind of a hot commodity. He had a great offense in Dallas. The Chargers' offense isn't the problem. He's going to get head
yeah.
coaching. I would fire Staley and let Kellen Moore be the interim coach and see how he does see how the team reacts.
Oh yeah, for mid-season. Yeah. No, I mean they have to be like almost probably I think the top underperformer that haven't had like a dramatic injury in some capacity. Like obviously the Vikings lost Kirk Cousins, so you can say they're way outperforming the record. But
Yes.
but at the beginning of the season, at least they were pretty disappointing. Like other than that, who else has been really underperforming versus what they're expecting? They're probably the top candidate. I mean
Yeah.
Cincinnati, but they've got injury stuff,
Cincinnati coach is safe. He took them to a Super Bowl and they've had injuries.
and then not and the Bills. I mean those are probably the top two.
Well, that's the thing about the Bills head coach. I'm like, who's available? Like, like if you have a
If
good quarterback like Allen, you're not firing McDermott and then replacing him with an unproven coordinator. It's not like
yeah,
there's a Sean Payton out there. Do you know what I mean?
it does feel like we're coming to like the end of like some kind of era of all the coaches that were around when we started like first watching football like
Yeah.
20 years ago, where it'd just be like for 20 years it was like, all right, this guy gets fired, he goes and he's the D coordinator there, and then he'll rotate around and maybe he'll get another head coach job. And now I feel like the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 hirings have all been these offensive coordinators that are kind of like under 40 years old, offensive defensive guys are like newish on the scene and not
Yeah.
just Jeff Schwartz's and like those guys that were just like rotated in and out for the last 20, 25 years.
Yeah. McCarthy in Dallas is kind of the last of the era.
He's sort of in the middle. It's like Belichick and Andy Reid are the guys that have been around forever. And
And
then you have to look to like
Tomlin Harbaugh.
Tomlin, Harbaugh. Yeah, those were like, we started in like the early 2000s, like
Yeah.
not carrying back to the 90s. And then after that, like the 2015 plus guys are all like, all relatively young too. Like they could be here until 2035.
Yeah, as long as they keep winning. You want this college pick, or how do you want to wrap this up? Do you have anything else before I give them
I,
out the college winner?
I'm locked and loaded. Give me the pick so I can hit it.
Oregon State plus 13.5. But I like them. I take the 13.5.
In the Civil War? Okay.
Civil War money line is plus 425 right now. I like the
Okay.
Beavers to shock the world. They have a competent team. It is a rivalry game. Oregon is in position where if they beat Washington in the Pac-12 title game, that they could get in to the Final Four.
Yeah. They could, yeah.
This is Oregon left them high and dry, left the conference. Oregon State is left holding the bag, no conference. You're telling me that these guys aren't pumped up to ruin Oregon's season? Last time they're playing, they're not playing. They don't have anything scheduled. It's just like Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. You got the in-state rivalry leaving the Natty on the line. I think the Beavers shocked the world.
Beavers shocked the world.
Outright plus 425.
Oh.
Rivalry game. It's going to be close. You'll probably have an opportunity to get off of it in game. They're competent. Let's go.
What stinks about this game is that my family has no passion for sports. This should be the Shear Bowl. I had my dad and an aunt went to. My dad and my uncle went to Oregon. My two aunts went to Oregon State. They're from Oregon. Crickets.
I can't believe you didn't. I can't believe you didn't go to Oregon yourself. I mean, having the family go there and then that was like prime Chip Kelly time, dude.
Zero. But then went Oregon, Stanford, Michigan. No talk at any point. Hey, you should really check out one of these big, awesome schools. Zero.
Nothing. No guidance. Yeah. Speaking of rivalry games, the other one I'm looking at, but this is, I don't know about the money line. Same situation, Washington State, Washington. Washington State is plus 16.5. They're plus 575 money line. I think one of those two rivalry games, there's an upset that shocks the world. Because everyone's talking about Washington, Oregon Pac-12 title game to get into the Final Four. No one's talking about that they both have rivalry games. And this year, those rivalry games are going to mean so much more. The bigger schools left the conference. They left these two smaller schools high and dry.
Yeah.
I think I'm picking Oregon State because I think they're the better team, but I think one, if not both, Washington State and Oregon State, one of them is walking out a winner in this rivalry game and ruining the Pac-12 title game.
Interesting. Yeah, and I was just thinking of our Texas bet. Is there any scenario that Texas jumps up? You would have to have you have to have Oregon, right? Oregon lose, and then obviously you're gonna have a Michigan, Ohio State lose.
Yep. So they'll be fine there. The big concern for me with Texas is what happens if Alabama beats Georgia.
It's the Bama legacy of coming back up. Yep.
Even though Texas beat Bama, but on the flip side, even if Georgia were to lose the SEC title game, are they really going to leave out Georgia, who won 2 titles in a row, and then their only losses to Bama? No way.
I think you're right that Georgia's the new, at least in the last couple of years, the new Alabama, where like you have to put them in, even if they have they made it this far without a defeat. Like you're not going
to. Georgia needs to win the SEC title game. Georgia is in with a loss. They're not going to leave the defending champion.
Yeah.
But here's a good argument for your take.
Yes.
Florida State, they're undefeated, but they lost their quarterback.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put a team in above them if it comes down to it, because if it's about the ratings and truly putting the best 4 teams out there, I think they're going to snub Florida State even if they are undefeated. Like if Bama were to beat Georgia, I think they put Bama and Georgia over Florida State without a quarterback.
But could they put? I guess they would. If you do the round robin style, if Texas beat Alabama, then how could Alabama be above them? But you're probably right that Alabama does, if they win the SEC, jump them. But yeah, so Florida State, does Florida State have a game? They must have a game.
They play Florida this week in the rivalry, and then they play the ACC title game against Louisville.
Yeah, so maybe a couple opportunities for Florida State to lose. You just talked about Oregon State, and then the Washington State, and then we have Ohio State, Michigan. So yeah, there's still a way that Texas, they have not looked very impressive the last few weeks. I'll tell you that. They are not Final Four caliber, but the chips could fall the right way.
They peaked week 3. Sark, I'm starting to get his teams get worse over the course of the year. I mean, they're struggling against Iowa State and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
They went to Bama and rolled. How are you struggling against the Cyclones?
I know. The style points are definitely not there.
But maybe you get in. with a little luck on your side, and then you have 3 weeks to prepare and you regroup.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? But hey, we can still dream. There is a scenario, so we'll see.
Yeah. Before we log off, no one's listening at this point, but shout out my boy Ludwig Aubert.
Aubert,
R,
sixty sixty or
RSM
61.
winner. And that is a course that he is a bomber. That is a course where like the Mackenzie Hughes of the world can compete. It's not a bomber's paradise. And he went in there. A course that's not style for him, and he dominated.
I mean, he now holds he hasn't played a major yet. Yeah. And he now holds the lowest PGA Tour score.
Ryder Cup before a major is pretty wild.
Ryder Cup before a major. I mean, he's already got 3 wins or something like that between the European and PGA Tour.
Yeah, I know he won the one in Switzerland and then this one. I don't know what is. If he won
for some reason, I thought he had one more. I thought he had 3, but at least 2.
Yeah,
and I've heard, I haven't looked at the odds, but he's down to 30-1 for Augusta. Hasn't even seen the place yet.
Yeah, debutantes do not do well there.
Just ripping it. I think 350 down the middle probably helps.
I think he'd be a fade for me in Augusta.
Oh yeah, at that price, definitely
year one. Not long term.
He's got to dial the wedges in, but yeah, very impressive performance. That's pretty crazy.
I saw my boy. I might be flying out to Jersey. I saw my boy Bryson might be down into the 30s, 30-1, 35-1 range already. I might be able to sell it for a big profit already.
Just creeping up. Oh, how about TGL? Speaking of golf, postponed to 2025. Our big TGL, January 7th or whatever that date was going to be for the inaugural TGL podcast is dead, unfortunately.
Question: does it ever happen?
In some form, it's probably. I mean, they clearly did not have their shit together. If a storm rolls by and blows up all your equipment, you probably weren't ready for prime time in less than 2 months.
So if anything, mobster insurance scam. Oh, hey, let's leave the window open. Hey, it's a hailstorm. Let's back the Jeep out into the driveway and get that hail insurance claim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It was going to be more just a spectacle to watch and make fun of than actually caring about the competition or the TV product after 2 weeks. But yeah, it might never.
You know what this means? Tiger's playing real events this year.
Hero World Challenge, 2 weeks.
Hey guys, we don't need this virtual hit and giggle. I can walk again. Let's go.
I just don't understand. In the early 2000s, they were doing those the battle at the Bighorn, prime time, Tiger versus Sergio. Those were perfectly good events. Just put it on prime time. Don't make me seek it out against football. Put it on a Thursday night or Tuesday night or whatever, works around the schedule. I don't understand why they can't figure out something. Are these guys that lazy?
People watch budding superstar Ludwig in the RSM on Sunday instead of football. Nobody.
7 people.
Yeah.
7 people. None of them from the U.S.
Oh my God, I agree. Why don't they have an event like a hit and giggle in November, December, right around now? There's nothing on. It doesn't even have to be a 4-day event.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Or just make a fun under the lights something I don't know.
They do that, don't they? Do they still do? I know they're doing the Grant Thornton this year with pairing up with an LPGA player. Do they still do the father-son thing that the dailies in the woods?
Yeah, they do. That's right. Isn't that around Thanksgiving usually?
Yeah, because it's usually Charlie and Tiger, the dailies, VJ and his kid.
Dude, if Tiger's playing in that this year, him and Charlie must watch TV. Absolute must watch.
Oh yeah. Apparently, Charlie's going to caddy for him at the Hero.
Oh, so great! I love everything about that guy.
What a life!
All right.
I got nothing.
What's the Thanksgiving plans? Wrap it up here.
Yeah, we gotta work on how we wrap it up. We just
I
fizzle
know
out.
we just fizzle out.
No one's listening. It's just me. Just me, my wife, and the 3 kids. No family. My mom is in Ohio with my brothers. Sayonara, and
Nice.
so is my dad. And so it's just us. My father-in-law and brother-in-law were going to come out, but they bailed like a month ago. He must have lost a case or something. So it's just us. How about you guys?
We're just going grandparents, her grandparents, like 45 minutes away. They do a good job. Uncle Mike does the cooking, makes it easy on me. So we just bring the kids. Everyone's happy. So yeah, man, can't wait.
In Jersey or New York or what part of town?
Jersey, yeah, northern Jersey. The one thing so the tradition that they've been having that we've continued is pumpkin raviolis appetizer. First thing we eat. Pumpkin raviolis. Seek them out. If there's an Italian deli or something like that, see if you can find pumpkin raviolis. You cook them in just like some white wine butter sauce, a little bit of cinnamon on top. Do that as like a appetizer, maybe like an hour before everything else rolls out. Perfect. Pumpkin raviolis.
Unfortunately, there are no Italians here in Minnesota, so I'll take your word for it.
I'll find something.
Sounds good.
Got you.
Well, we got a
All right.
record again this coming weekend.
You got it. All right.
Happy Thanksgiving, Tom.
You too, Chris.
See you, man.
Yeah.